Ahsoka, the Star Wars show to save all Star Wars shows. Episode 1, we start with an opening crawl that suggests that the Empire has been defeated, but somehow Thrawn will return. You don't know who Thrawn is? Fake fan. He's the old villain with the great books that were made non-canon so that the Rebel show could make a fool out of him. But don't worry about that show, because this one will definitely portray him much better. Anyhow, the Imperial remnants need to find Thrawn so that he can rally their forces and stage a comeback for the Empire. But first, they will need to find a map of Thrawn's location that somehow exists. And with that established, our story begins. We open with a massive ship flying through space. And already it's worth mentioning that this show is beautiful to look at. That's generally always one aspect you can always appreciate from Disney Star Wars. Even if everything else is terrible, at least it looks pretty. You know, most of the time. This is a Republic ship that is transporting a valuable prisoner. This ship is approached by a smaller, unknown ship that is claiming to be full of Jedi that are requesting to board. The wise captain immediately suspects trickery at play, so naturally, he allows the foreign ship to have exactly what they want by granting them safe passage into his own ship so that he can meet them face to face.
I'm calling their bluff. Signal them to come aboard.
Very astute of you, Captain. As the saying goes, never let them know your next move. The supposed Jedi emerge from their ship looking incredibly evil and menacing, as they should, because even though they are claiming to be good guys, audiences are dumb and would be too confused if they also dressed and acted as good guys before their inevitable betrayal. Excellent work, Dave. The Captain wastes no time and immediately calls out these frauds and declares them to be false Jedi, to which they respond by saying, yeah, and then they proceed to ignite their red lightsabers, kill everyone, then steal the valuable prisoner. It's been said that the best characters all have relatable flaws. This captain's flaw is being a fucking idiot. Dude's got half competence but a full smile. So let's recap this scene. Hey, could we board your ship? We're totally Jedi. I don't think they're Jedi. Let them board our ship so I can call them out. Hey, I'm calling you out because you're not Jedi. Yeah, you're right. Lightsaber stab.
These writers should go on strike to get paid better.
After all that, we cut to a mysterious temple where Ahsoka appears. And she needs no introduction because you did your homework beforehand, right? Ahsoka turns pillars within the temple in order to find a map for a very long time. It's like watching an Uncharted Let's Play, but only the parts that aren't fun. This is genius storytelling though, because this bit lasts for a little over 2 minutes, and that is ample time to allow the audience to take a bathroom break.
Foam is fun you can feel. Roll it, mold it, or cover it. That's the way you foam it.
So she finds the golden map snitch and earns 10 points for Hufflepuff. Then she goes to leave, but gets stopped by this cool looking robot.
The map. Give it to us.
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 Ah yes, the best use of the element of surprise is to immediately give it away for no reason. All good writers know you don't want things to be too hard for your heroes, because adversity isn't fair or fun. We see this play out further as the robots perform a very considerate self-destruct sequence.
Initiate self-destruct protocol.
Not only do they announce it, but they take forever to get it going, allowing our hero to have the perfect amount of time for a nice casual jog before making her escape. It's also worth pointing out that these droids nuked this entire temple in an attempt to kill Ahsoka, despite their goals being to retrieve the map within the temple.
The map. Give it to us.
That's because if Zack Snyder has taught us anything, cool visuals always take priority over depth and substance. Ahsoka then meets up with her droid companion, Huyang. You don't know who Huyang is? Well, filthy casual. Had you done your homework, you would obviously recognize him from Season 5, Episodes 7 through 9 of Clone Wars. And obviously he's here now because Huyang survived the destruction of the Jedi Order and ultimately the Galactic Empire's reign, though we don't know how. Okay, you can get a pass for not knowing that one, but we still won't provide context for who he is and how he got into this show, because you don't need to know, just accept it. The two travel back to home base, creatively named Home 1. And oh my goodness, look who it is. It's a gonk droid. We also see the return of... Ula. Ula Syndulla here informs Ahsoka about the prisoner escape, and they ponder who the evil not Jedis could be. Then Ahsoka exposits that this golden snitch will help them find Thrawn. How does she know this? Don't ask questions. Ula states that Thrawn is dead, since this is where we last saw him.
They're about to jump into hyperspace!
But since this is Disney Star Wars, plot armor is thicker than even the most durable of ray shields, so nobody is allowed to die in this universe, not even Ahsoka herself.
Ahsoka!
By the way, Dave understands that nobody ever reads the opening crawls, so he has all that same information and more repeated again in this scene. Thanks, Dave. And again, it's worth mentioning how good everything looks in the show. From the sets to the costumes, even the exposition scenes are eye-catching. Later we cut to...
Crabs? What the barnacle is going on here?
Now, before we begin with the ribbon cutting, I'd like to announce the name of our new manager!
Krabs is looking for Sabine, who ghosted him during the ceremony because she was too busy being a rebel. You don't know who Sabine is? Should have done your homework, fake fan. How dare you not know this character from this nearly 10-year-old cartoon that was bad. The fun police try to pull her over and take her to the ceremony, but she does this epic stunt, so the officer is like, okay, that was pretty poggers. You are free to go. And so she goes home to feed her space cat, and listens to an old message from Ezra. And it should be more than apparent at this point that this show is a direct follow-up to the Rebel show, and one cannot be watched without the other. So, Rebels, 4 seasons. That's your homework. Go. But actually, you have to watch the 7 seasons of Clone Wars that came before and after the Rebel show, and The Mandalorian, and The Bad Batch, and the novels, and the comics, and of course the infamously terrible prequel films. Either that, or just pretend this all makes sense without putting continuity in question. We later cut back to the not Jedis, with which we have Darth Santa, Darth Eilish, and Darth Ninja, also the former prisoner, who reveals herself to be a witch.
You're a witch. Okay.
They're gonna go find Sabine now. Naturally, we cut back to Sabine, who is being haunted by what happened to Ezra. You don't know what happened to Ezra?
Go fuck yourself!
Sabine then meets with Ahsoka to relay the same information again, in that there's a map, and they need to figure out how to use it. Dave, I almost forgot about that, so thanks for reminding me. Along the way, they spill some drama about how Ahsoka failed to give Sabine Jedi training, though I don't remember Sabine being Force sensitive, and thus being able to become a Jedi.
Roll with it.
Ahsoka says, don't take this map off the ship. Then Sabine takes the map off the ship.
She took the map off the ship when I explicitly told her not to.
These writers should go on strike to get paid better.
Sabine spends a very long time opening the map, which means that we get to take another bathroom break. Then she gets ambushed by more evil robots. Thankfully for their sake, they don't announce themselves this time, but to keep things fair, the space cat gives them away. Sabine beats these droids up with her bare hands.
Right.
However, one droid does manage to steal the map and delivers it to Darth Eilish. Darth Eilish and Sabine have a lightsaber duel, and I'm like 90% sure Sabine can't use the Force, so this should be a pretty easy win for... Yep, there you go. GG Sabine, you've had a good run. That's the end of the episode. The lesson we can learn here is, don't steal valuable MacGuffins from the government and bring them to your unprotected house, lest you go the way of the donut. This episode's theme is suffering appropriate consequences for making dumb decisions. Episode 2. The episode starts and apparently Sabine is just fine.
Okay.
Normally a lightsaber to the ribs is a death sentence, but that old Star Wars plot armor is coming in clutch yet again. It's not like death would stop her from returning anyway. Anyhow, Ahsoka gives her a proverbial slap on the wrist for being a dummy. And congratulations Sabine, your flaws have made you a better character than Rey. We cut to the evil people as they put the map in the map hole. Then we cut to Ahsoka as she does Jedi forensics to figure out what happened during the previous fight. Suddenly a leftover droid tries to ambush her, but the space cat snitches yet again, and it gets easily destroyed. That's twice now where a space cat bailed out the good guys. Clever stuff, am I right? Ahsoka brings the droid head to Sabine, who looks remarkably good, considering.
Nice try.
Sabine hacks the droid to find out where it came from, and this scene could normally be considered boring. So to generate some excitement, the writers established that this head could explode during the process. Obviously it doesn't, because that would mean all our main characters would be killed, but still, isn't the illusion of danger fun? Ahsoka travels to the location that the droid reveals. Meanwhile, Ula Syndulla validates Sabine, because even though she was just run through by a lightsaber, her true injuries were to her feelings.
You did good. Tell that to her.
The evil people use the map, and the witch threatens us with time travel.
Thrawn calls to me. Across time and space.
No!
Truly, only the most heinous of villains would introduce that concept in a story where it doesn't belong.
Yo, baby girl got so much cake!
Ula and Ahsoka do some investigating, while Ula tries to persuade Ahsoka to train Sabine. Speaking of which, we cut back to her to learn that she is pretty much fully recovered from getting kebabbed by a lightsaber. 'Tis but a simple flesh wound, you see, no biggie.
Fucking pussy!
Ahsoka and company investigate a scrapyard and reveal that they've been conducting mysterious imperial shenanigans, and so another fight ensues.
I'm wasted on cross-country! We dwarves are natural sprinters!
She fights Darth Ninja, but he escapes. Then Ula Syndulla spends a long time putting a tracking device on a ship. Bathroom break. Sabine does a Mulan and puts on her Mandalorian armor, though I don't know why, considering her plot armor is a much stronger defense. We close out with Darth Sana sensing that Ahsoka is on their trail.
Kill her would be a shame. There are so few Jedi left.
Sentimental.
Truth.
Ah yes, as there were once endless numbers of Jedi defending the galaxy, now there are so few that the concept of a Jedi is like that of a mysterious legend. You know, before Disney started spawning 5 new ones with every new product. The show is actually quite clever with how much homework it requires in order for people to properly understand it, because they know that most of you won't put the work in, so they know they can just pick and choose which aspects of the lore they'll keep within continuity, and which aspects they'll just change on the fly, because they know most of you won't be able to remember the lore well enough to tell the difference. Plus, they know that there are scores of keyboard warriors out there willing to fight tooth and nail on their behalf against anyone who questions their creative choices. Anyhow, episode 3. We start with Ho Young training Sabine. His presence may make you question why Sabine even needs Ahsoka, but shush. He explains that Sabine is one of the worst candidates for Jedi training he's ever witnessed, which is fitting because she wasn't a Force user until like 2 seconds ago. So throughout the entire Rebel series, when these two thought they might be some of the last of their kind, there was actually a third one with them the entire time, but nobody noticed because she just sucked that bad. Plot hole filled. Thankfully, a little blindfold training can charge those powers right up. We cut to Ula Syndulla as she tries to warn politicians of Thrawn's return, but the politicians are uncanny levels of corrupt and incompetent, so they get nowhere, and fair enough. This is consistent with the woefully stupid Republic that allowed the First Order to rise to power. We cut back to Sabine and Ahsoka as they continue to establish Sabine as a sucky dumb Force user. She suggests that maybe she just can't use the Force, to which Ahsoka responds by saying that the Force is in all living things, and there's an implication that anyone can use the Force with enough talent and training. This is a nice and subtle little retcon that just might open the door for anyone and everyone to use the Force, meaning most of, if not all of your favorite Star Wars characters have the potential to become Jedi now, regardless of their background. Isn't that exciting? This change also speaks to the show's uniqueness, because it has one of the few writing styles out there that actively gaslights you while you watch it. Later, the evil people show up and we get a space battle, and in this lighting, Sabine looks a lot like Ezra Miller. Maybe that's the true Ezra that's been haunting her.
I am just a black hole of snacks. I am a snack hole.
Though Sabine was previously established to be a competent Mandalorian, she is now suffering from Force-based skill issues when aiming a gun.
Hey, hold it steady!
Remember, learn to anticipate.
Now's not the time for a lesson!
This is helpful to establish within the lore, because now we can explain away most displays of incompetence by blaming the Force. Hear that, dummies? Just use the Force, it's the answer to every problem. The fight leads them to a Halo ring, which is being controlled by the Witch. The Witch shoots down Ahsoka's ship, but thankfully the plot armor prevents the ship from exploding. Sabine tries to repair the ship, while Ahsoka exits the ship to continue fighting with her lightsabers. This makes sense. You literally could have flown anywhere in the galaxy, but you chose to fly straight into this lightsaber. You deserve that. Sabine repairs the ship in record time, scoops Ahsoka back in, and they fly down to the nearby planet, where they encounter some space whales. Space whales. Then the episode closes out with the good guys escaping while the bad guys gear up to find them. So as you can see, this show is flawless in every way so far. Tune in and subscribe to hear how great the rest of the series goes.